Today, we will talk about the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is a very large national park with a very interesting background. I have researched this topic in great detail to fully understand the creation of the Grand Canyon and how it came to be. First, we will talk about the creation of the Grand Canyon. Next, we will talk about the artifacts found throughout the canyon in the Colorado River. Last, we will talk about the interesting story of the naming of the canyon as a national park. Let's first start with a brief overview of what the Grand Canyon looks like today. The canyon is located in northern Arizona, northwest of Flagstaff. The canyon is 270 miles long, up to 18 miles wide, and 1 mile deep. These measurements make the canyon one of the largest canyons in the world. So let's begin with the creation of the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon's formation began roughly 2 billion years ago and gradually changed over millions of years. Igneous and metamorphic rocks in the inner gorge began the formation 2 billion years ago. These rocks are underneath layer upon layer of sedimentary rocks. The igneous and metamorphic rocks are the oldest rocks in the Grand Canyon. The highest point of rock at the Grand Canyon, the Kaibab Limestone, was once at the bottom of the ocean. However, it is now up to 9,000 feet high. The Colorado Plateau, which is the flatland surrounding the canyon, caused the area to shift upwards due to tectonic shifts. The Colorado River has carved the rocks of the canyon for 5 to 6 million years. Snowfall and snowmelt have caused the movement of rocks and other eroding materials to carve out the canyon. Now that we have talked about the creation of the Grand Canyon, let's talk about the artifacts found throughout the canyon and its surrounding river area. During the years 2007 to 2009, archaeologists had the opportunity to excavate sites along the Colorado River. The archaeologists excavated 9 sites along the river over the course of 136 days. Due to erosion caused by the river, artifacts were literally washing down the river. The recovered artifacts included stone tools, pottery, jewelry, seeds, ash from hearths, and a buffalo bone. This project proved evidence that humans lived in and around the Grand Canyon, ranging from Paleo-Indian nomadic hunter-gatherers up to historic Southwest native cultures. But most of the artifacts found ranged from the years 1000 to 1250 AD. 11 Southwest native tribes were also involved in this excavation. Archaeologists consulted with these tribes before the dig took place and also after the dig to help interpret the artifacts found. This was so archaeologists could have a full understanding of what was found. During the course of this 2 years, nearly 100 park staff members, museum scientists, river guides, volunteers, and tribal members had a hand in this excavation. Now that we have talked about the creation of the Grand Canyon and the artifacts found throughout the canyon, let's talk about the naming of the canyon as a national park. The Grand Canyon was named a national park in 1919. However, there was an attempt in 1882 to make the canyon a national park. However, this was shot down due to land and mining moguls concerned that the national park status would limit their access to the area. President Theodore Roosevelt eventually declared the canyon as a national monument in 1908 after making several visits to the canyon. The Grand Canyon was not officially named a national park until 1919. The 11 years difference meant Roosevelt was no longer in office. The bill was signed by then President Woodrow Wilson. The Grand Canyon is a very large national park with a very interesting background. Today, we talked about 3 points. We talked about the creation of the Grand Canyon. We talked about the artifacts found throughout the canyon and the surrounding river area. We talked about the interesting story of the naming of the canyon as a national park. Based on the information presented today, hopefully you have learned about the development of the Grand Canyon and realized a newfound interest in the canyon and its history. Thank you.